Good morning and Happy New Year. My name's Littlestone from forexflow.live. Here we go with putting 2020 in the rearview mirror, but as we enter 2021, all the themes are still in place that we left the year with. And what we're looking at now is this early few days is a bit of a discovery scenario, finding out what prices want to do, whether the market is going to come in and re-establish positions that perhaps were reduced over the holiday period. And the early signs are that we're continuing the theme from as we ran into the holiday period and the end of last year. And that's mainly on US dollar weakness. This is a theme that had been pretty much running through the whole of last year. And we're seeing that continue. As I say, today is very early in that stage to see whether this trend is going to continue or whether we're going to see something change. But at the moment, as I say, we're continuing the theme. So I'm just going to have a brief run through the charts and just look at some of the key levels around. The first one I'm going to start with is the weekly chart for dollar yen. And here we can see throughout, well, it's pretty much a trend since sort of 2016, a pretty bearish trend. And that picked up in 2020, as we can see from that last dip you can see down there. And it pretty much continued all the way down. You know, every rally was sold, and we keep hitting new lows, new lows, new lows. As we enter the year this year, we're below 103, and it looks to be a decent move, trading around 102.70. You can see by that line at the end there, the trend is your friend, and we're continuing that lower. Down here, it becomes all about the big psychological level and indeed the big fundamental level at 100. So that's going to be the interesting level to look at there. If we get down there, how we react there, maybe how the Ministry of Finance reacts when we get into that level, could be big for this pair and indeed the trend. If we get a solid hold there, or we get raised talk of intervention for the Ministry of Finance, then that potentially could see a bottom put in place. But we have to wait and see. But that's one of the key levels we'll be looking at in the early part of this year. If we want to see a reverse of this trend, we've got to get above the first trend line on that chart, and indeed the second trend line, and that will maybe change the picture somewhat. So the next pair we're going to move on to is euro dollar. Again, this is all still with the dollar theme. We're seeing the rally continue. It got up to 123, just nipped over it into the end of the year, and we're back up testing the level today. Whether we break above it, could that kick on further? Really here, it's all about getting up to that 125 zone. That's where the market's got its arrows fixed on a potential target for this particular move. As we can see from the weekly chart there, we do have a lot of fibs in play again, round up to that 125, 126, 30, 40 area. Lots of fibs in play, lots of techs in play there. That's going to be the level to watch if we get up there. If it's not going to happen, then we're going to need to see a move at least down to 120. And if 120 goes, then things change again and the picture changes once more. So those are the areas I'm looking at for that pair. Quickly, we'll move on to cable, or the pound versus the dollar. Again, sticking to the theme. Obviously, Brexit is now done and dusted, and that faded pretty quickly. We were expecting a bit more of reaction, perhaps a knee-jerk once the details got announced or once the final seal of approval was done. But virus is taken over again, and really we priced in a lot of that Brexit deal in the couple of weeks beforehand, several weeks beforehand. So there hasn't been that much of reaction, and the moves up to 137, which again is another key level, is pretty much priced for Brexit, but we're back in the virus thing, and again we're looking at the US dollar side of things. So for that one, it's pretty much looking up to 135 is the key area below, and while we're up here 137, 140 is the big psychological target there. Now, it's not all about the dollar. If we look at one of the crosses, going to move to euro sterling quickly. Just again, I was expecting this to move a bit more on a Brexit deal, and it hasn't. So I'm pretty much setting my boundaries here down towards the sort of 88.60 area, which we can see on the chart there against that red line. That's my support level. Up above, it's all into the 0.93. That's the big zone to play. Break either way, we could get to a further move. So that's a brief outline of how things are starting the year. And as always, I wish you luck this year and this week.